You know that feeling when the fridge stares at you reproachfully? It's empty, except for a lone egg, a jar of mustard, and a dried-up lemon. Today I couldn't ignore that silent reproach. Going to the store isn't a routine, friends. It's a quest. Level. A hungry single guy with chef ambitions. I grabbed a tote bag and walked outside. The sun was shining. Birds were singing, and my shopping list fluttered in the wind. Shopping list. A sacred document. Although, I always forget to actually look at it. The supermarket greeted me with automatic doors and the smell of fresh baked goods. Who decided to put the bakery at the entrance? That person is a genius of manipulation. I walked past, keeping a stone face. First things first, grab a cart, a shopping cart. One wheel on mine treacherously squeaked and kept pulling to the left. I made peace with it. Every cart has its own personality. Some roll smoothly like a limousine. Mine resembled a stubborn donkey. But oh well, we became a team. I pulled out my list and tried to decipher my scribbles. Milk, bread, something for tea. Do not buy chips. The last part was written in capital letters and underlined 3 times. Past me clearly knew that current me couldn't be trusted. I chuckled and headed to the dairy section. Section, aisle. The dairy section is always at the very end, so you have to walk past every temptation. Marketing? No, treachery. The dairy section gleamed with whiteness. Shelves stocked with cartons and bottles stretched into infinity. I paused before a choice that baffles even philosophers. Which milk to buy? Milk. Whole milk. Semi-skimmed. Skimmed. I grabbed the whole milk, because life is too short to drink white water. Next to it stood cream. Cream. Heavy for sauces. I glanced at it, but restrained myself. Sour cream. Kefir. Fermented baked milk. Yes, even our fermented dairy requires translation. I moved on and stumbled upon the yogurts. Yogurt. Greek, natural with probiotics, lactose-free. With fruit at the bottom, sugar-free. With granola in the lid. A whole universe in little cups. I chose the plain one because I have ambitions. I'll mix it with berries myself. Cheese. Cheese. Now that's where I got stuck for a while. Hard. Soft. Blue cheese. No mold. Parmesan. Cheddar. Gouda. Mozzarella balls. Braided Siliguni. I grabbed a regular semi-hard one. A universal soldier. Eggs. A carton of 10. I opened the box and checked. Are they all intact? Mom taught me that. Never grab eggs without looking, even if it makes you look paranoid. A cracked egg in a bag is a tragedy. You'll have to wash off the rest of your groceries. I carefully placed the carton into the trolley. Now bread. Bread. White brown rye. Whole grain. Seeded ciabatta baguette. I grabbed a rustic loaf with a crispy crust. I have butter at home. Butter. And that will be the perfect toast. Fruit and vegetables. Fruit and vegetables. This is the brightest, most fragrant section. It smells like summer even in December. I roll my cart up to a mountain of apples. Apples. Red, green, yellow, striped. Granny Smith, sour, firm, perfect for a pie. Fuji, sweet, crisp. I picked a couple of different varieties. Oranges. Oranges. Bright like the sun. I sniff one. It smells like New Year's. Bananas. Bananas. I took a small bunch, slightly green, so they'd ripen at home. Now vegetables. Tomatoes. Big, fleshy for a salad. Cucumbers. Cucumbers. Long, bumpy. I touched one, firm, meaning fresh. Onions. Onions. Red and white. Red goes into the salad. White is for frying. Garlic. Garlic. A couple of cloves for flavor. A kitchen without garlic isn't a kitchen. Carrots. Carrots. Orange crunchy. I love munching them raw, like a rabbit. Potatoes. Potatoes. A big bag. Potatoes are the foundation. Fried, boiled, mashed, baked. The queen of the table. Greens. Herbs. Parsley. Dill. Cilantro. Green onions. Scallions. Spinach. I grabbed a bunch of cilantro and parsley. Fresh greens transform any dish from meh to almost restaurant quality. Berries, berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. None of these are in season right now, but the shelf was bursting with imported beauty. I picked up a small pack of blueberries. I'll toss them into my yogurt. The meat section, butcher's section. It smells of cold and metal here. The displays are filled with cuts awaiting their time. Chicken, chicken, chicken breast, chicken thighs, drumsticks. I grabbed the breast. Easy to cook, high in protein, minimum hassle. Beef, beef, tenderloin, minced meat, ground beef. I took the mincemeat. I'll make patties. Pork, pork. I just looked at it. Not today. Fish, salmon, trout, cod, pollock, mackerel. I stopped at the chilled display. The fish's eyes gazed with philosophical calmness. I chose a salmon fillet, bright orange, fatty, to bake in the oven with lemon and thyme. Thyme, by the way, rosemary. I'll buy the spices in another section. The middle aisles are a high-risk zone. This is where cookies, chips, chocolate, and other agents of chaos live. Snacks. I drove past, gripping the cart handle like a captain gripping the helm in a storm. Crackers. Crackers. Salty with rosemary. I reached out, but pulled my hand back. Chocolate. Chocolate. Milk, dark, with nuts, with caramel, with sea salt. I closed my eyes and rolled past. But at the very edge, I grabbed one bar of dark chocolate. Dark chocolate is good for the heart. I didn't invent that. Science did. Groceries, flour, sugar, salt, pepper, grains, cereals, rice, buckwheat, oatmeal, pasta, spaghetti, penne, fusilli, farfalle. I took spaghetti. They feel like family, and a can of tomato paste. Tomato paste. There be pasta with ground beef. Italy, watch out. The cart was full. The little wheel was no longer squeaking pitifully, but triumphantly. I headed for the checkouts. Checkout. Cashier. Cashier. The line was short, just a couple of people. I had time to place my groceries on conveyor belt according to principle. Heavy stuff first, eggs and bread on top. This is advanced logistics. I've seen newbies put tomatoes under cans of beans, and I wanted to scream, but I stayed silent because we all learn from our own mistakes. Do you need a bag? The cashier asked. A bag, a plastic bag. I proudly refused and pulled out my tote. Eco-friendly, friends, eco-friendly. I even felt a fleeting sense of superiority over my past self. Items beeped on the scanner. Scanner. The total flashed on the screen. Total. I tapped my card on the terminal. To pay by card. Payment went through. A receipt. A receipt. I took it automatically, even though at home it would go into a special drawer where receipts live, never destined to be checked. I walked out of the store with 2 full bags. The sun was still shining, but now it was illuminating my loot. I wasn't just carrying groceries home. I was carrying possibilities. Breakfasts, lunches, dinners. Experiments at the stove, and the smell of fried onions filling the apartment. Friends, grocery shopping is not a chore. It's creativity. Every time you place an item in your cart, you are writing the menu of your life. At home, I unpacked my purchases. The fridge stopped looking sad and filled with color. I boiled the kettle and made a sandwich with that very cheese on that very bread. And it was the best sandwich of my life because it was earned. Now here's your task. Go to the store and silently name each product in English. Milk, eggs, bread. And when you're standing at the checkout, smile at the cashier and say, "Thank you, have a nice day." And that will be your small step towards a big language. Bon appetit and happy shopping, friends. And my list? I forgot the tea, of course. I'll have to go again. But that's a whole different story.